This is fascinating. Remaining passively awake. And this involves avoiding any effort to fall asleep. Paradoxically, worrying that you can't sleep can actually keep you awake. So letting go of this worry can help you relax and make it easier to fall asleep. Again, this is the essence of the mindfulness meditation that is taught here by Gina Sager, and is a lovely practice that can be employed under really almost any circumstances, but particularly for people who they get awake and their mind's going and then they get feeling nuts about it. Whereas if you just let your mind go on, it'll, like a little kid, will get tired. Next. And then stimulus control. This method, which we refer to, removes factors that condition the mind to resist sleep. For example, use the bed only for sleep and sex, and leave the bedroom if you can't go to sleep or have sex within 15 minutes. Next. And then sleep hygiene I referred to again. This is a method of therapy involving changing basic lifestyle habits that influence sleep, such as smoking or drinking too much caffeine late in the day, drinking too much alcohol, or not getting regular exercise. You may be told to avoid napping and taught to maintain a consistent sleep schedule. It also includes tips that help you sleep better, such as ways to wind down an hour or two before bedtime. We refer to, the baths or just, doing something, some sort of ritual that brings you to that point where sleep is acceptable. Next. And then relaxation training, which I've referred to on many occasions. This method helps you calm your mind and body and includes meditation, hypnosis, deep muscle relaxation, and the yoga, some of the tapes we have, CDs we have across the hall are wonderful for that. There's some very gentle, soothing music that people use with great benefit. Next. And sometimes a sleep diary is helpful in developing the insights as to what factors that you just aren't paying attention to that may either interfere with or help improve sleep. And you write down when you go to bed, when you get up, how much time you spend in bed, unable to sleep, total sleep time. Probably be so busy writing the diary you never sleep, but that could be its own problem. Next. And then the cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia can benefit nearly anyone with sleep problems. The therapy can help older adults who have been taking medication for years and people with physical problems such as chronic pain and those with primary insomnia, which is a condition that exists in its own right. The point is that this is not just speculation or anecdote. Again, these are well-proven studies. Next. And the effects are long-lasting as long as you maintain the practices. In other words, you take a course in cognitive behavioral therapy and you start to sleep and then you think you could stay up and watch TV and drink alcohol, it's not going to work. But once you learn the skills and apply them regularly, they actually work. There's no evidence that the therapy has negative side effects. And then cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia requires steady practice, and some approaches may cause you to lose sleep at first because you're breaking habits that, like sedating yourself with alcohol, etc. But if you stick with it, you're likely to see really lasting results. Now, Dr. Woodruff has some interest in this. There are other practitioners in the community, and should people have an interest in accessing those people, I'll be happy to direct you to them. Next. And now I'm going to speak about transcranial direct current stimulation, which is something that is interesting to me for many reasons. But originally, I was drawn to it because I've been interested in this idea of cognitive impairment that occurs for people under a variety of circumstances. Now, cognitive impairment can happen with aging and be associated with either a vascular dementia or a classic Alzheimer's dementia, which probably is not one or the other, but a little bit of both. It can occur from prolonged sleep disturbance. It can occur from medications, from other chronic illnesses. It can be a part of chronic depression. And one of the reasons I got interested in this is that with chronic depression, the memory locus of the brain, there develops a paucity of neuronal density. So there's fewer neurons per cubic centimeter. They can tell this by these, PET scan imaging techniques. And there's a reduction in an intrinsic hormone that our brain produces called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Now, when you treat depression effectively, treat it to remission, which is a term that means you're not depressed, not that you're a little bit better or halfway better, but you're not depressed by a variety of criteria, that some of which can be objectified using questionnaire scales, although that's, in my mind, a semi-objective objectification, and some of which can be done using PET scanning techniques to look at hippocampal neuronal density. The BDNF levels go up, and the neuronal density in the memory locus of the brain improve. And in a lot of people, as they get older, because I've been interested in this issue of healthy aging, a lot of people when they get older, they're concerned about their memory, and they're concerned about cognitive function. And it's always a bit difficult early on to understand what part of that is a undiagnosed or inadequately treated depression versus a true, let's say, early Alzheimer's disease or etc. And again, I think in reality, there's never just one or the other, or rarely. When you see a phenomena, there's typically extremes where it's one or the other. But for most of us, it'll be some amalgam of phenomena going on in our bodies. So, transcranial direct current stimulation is one of many ways of putting electric current through or in the brain. There are techniques where they actually put electrodes in brain tissue. There are techniques where they put magnets around the brain and stimulate it that way. And there are these techniques where you put electrodes on the skin of the skull and stimulate the brain that way. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's been ongoing for at least since the 1940s, and maybe even before. It's not electroshock therapy, which was the extreme of this. But it is a gentle stimulation therapy that has now a growing literature basis for demonstrating benefit in everything from insomnia, depression, anxiety, cognitive impairment, and chronic pain, fibromyalgia pain, but interestingly enough, other types of chronic pain syndromes, because from the chronic pain point of view, there's a large component of chronic pain that's mediated centrally, that isn't occurring in the periphery where it may have originated, but it's occurring in the modulating mechanisms of the pain message to your brain and the way your brain interprets it.